There were 43 goals scored in 9 Champions League matches last night, 3 of which came courtesy of Newcastle United against Jose Mourinho's Benfica.
Trippier's corner from the left. It's not a bad one. Good header down, blocked by the keeper. Dan Burn at the back stick. Trying to drop one in behind Burn on the diagonal. Luca Bacchio's taken it down and got into the area dangerously. And Pope makes a big save at his near post. Murphy climbs to head it, but he only finds a red shirt. And now it's Luca Bacchio.
What an effort that is.
The outside of the post. The whip and the bend on that shot. Auschnez into the middle. Chow's got it. And Bruno trying to get Murphy in behind. He has. Murphy's cross. Gordon! Anthony Gordon! His 4th Champions League goal of the season. Tapping in at the back post. And making it Newcastle United 1, Benfica 0. Trippier's corner, outswinger. It's a good one, and it's a massive chance. The header is over the top. Lewis Miley. It's Voltemader's knock on that finds Bruno, far side of the penalty area. 2 on him. Bruno beats 1. Hits the deck, wants a penalty. Doesn't get it from Simon Marciniak. To Luca Bacchio, first time cross. Very casually delivered.
Yeah.
He's gone for a big throw, quick throw, looking for Barnes. Oh, it's found him. Harvey Barnes, can he take it all the way into the area? Barnes! Oh, it's magnificent! Nick Pope with a huge throw. It's gone most of the length of the pitch, and Barnes got on the end of it, drove on into the penalty area. They've got that crucial second goal, and Nick Pope, as well as Harvey Barnes, gets the congratulations. Nothing wrong with Pope's distribution there. Gordon and Voltemada, beautiful link up, and Harvey Barnes in for a 3rd goal. Yes, yes, Harvey Barnes. That's absolutely brilliant football by Newcastle. Voltemada with a flick, back to Gordon, and a threaded through ball for Barnes, who nutmegged the goalkeeper. When they win in the Champions League, they win big. Newcastle United 3, Benfica 0. Barnes, who hoists it back up in there. Otamendi, Dan Burn on his chest, and then the volley! Oh, Dan Burn, that would have been something. Trubin with another save.
Even first half, really. I thought we created some good chances. Had to be patient for that first goal. Thought we scored 3 great goals today, actually. Thought we looked a constant threat in the game. But we had some moments where we had to defend well, and they were a threat from their set plays as well. So delighted with the win. It's a massive, massive result.
We'll hear a bit more from Eddie Howe in just a tick. It was a brilliant result, and a good performance too.
Yeah, it was. I suppose everything that was missing at the weekend was there last night. Played with that pace, desire, high press. Nick Pope had a couple of saves to make in the first half. Good saves as well, and the boy was unlucky with the one that he's hit the outside of the post with.
We were right behind that. It spooked in the head, didn't it? That
the movement on it was unbelievable.
He wasn't saving that if it had crept inside the post, was it?
No. But once we got the second goal, could have won it by more. Could have been more. Barnes came on, seen him do it many a time. He comes off the bench and he has a huge impact on the game. I thought Gordon was unplayable last night. I thought he was brilliant. I really did. I thought his pace, his willingness to get forward, his first thought was to get at people.
He is, as they say, it's kind of common parlance these days, in a good moment, isn't he, Anthony Gordon, right now? Yeah,
and midfield 3 were the 2 boys he brought in. I thought played well. Guimaraes should have had a penalty. Well, maybe should have had 2 penalties, to be fair. Referee didn't want to know anything about those penalty claims. I
think the first one, the way he threw himself down.
Yeah, first one's maybe a little bit iffy, but the second one looked a nailed-on penalty. Yeah. Thought defensively we were sound. Voltemada, he's got great feet. I mean, the 3rd goal's just a great goal. Great team goal. Gordon into Volta made a great little flick, and he puts Barnes in. And when he gets in those situations, you always fancy Barnes. I thought Murphy on that right hand side his quality of ball into the box was great as well. There was just so many pluses to take from it. It was just an all-round very, very good team performance.
Second goal, as ever, was crucial.
Yeah.
Benfica after that, well, their tails dropped, didn't they? And it was set up, that goal, by the goalkeeper, Nick Pope. And here's Eddie Howe on that long throw that set Harvey Barnes away.
It's a thing of beauty. We needed that second goal. We've been working on not necessarily that throw with Nick, but certain parts of his distribution to make us more efficient. Distribution of goalkeepers these days is so important. But that was a sort of spontaneous moment, and Harvey finished it brilliantly, so delighted for both players.
Yeah, I noticed as many players went to congratulate Pope as did Barnes after that goal.
Yeah, he might not be great with his feet.
He can hoy it,
but
though.
he can throw it. Delighted for him, because he splits opinion, doesn't he? I think another clean sheet from last night as well. I think he's been excellent this season. Keeps the ball out of the back of the net. Might not be great with his feet, but his distribution with his feet might not be great. But it was a great throw.
He said there, though, he said they've been working on things regarding his distribution, and he said there in that clip that distribution for goalkeepers now is very important. So it's not as though they're kind of saying, well, yeah, it might not be his strength, but we're keeping him because he's a good goalkeeper. They clearly want to improve him in that aspect.
Yeah, difficult at his age now as well. It's is he going to get better with his feet? Maybe,
he can still
but is he
get better. Can't he still
but
improve?
Is he going to get to the standard that's? I don't. He just doesn't look comfortable when the ball's at his feet. But as far as keeping the ball out of the back of the net and shot stopping, I don't think there's many better in the Premier League, to be quite honest. But that throw last night was brilliant. He's thrown it 60, 70 yards, and it was good finish as well. And that would have done his confidence the world of good. He might, as I say, might not be great with his feet, but he did it against Arsenal as well. And Alanga nearly got in, and then he tried it again with his feet a couple of minutes later, and that led to Arsenal getting that corner kick where they scored the winner from, and he came in for criticism from it. But at least he's prepared to try it. And as I say, I thought he played well yesterday. He made two really important saves in that first half, at 0-0. Both at the near post. So yeah, good on him. But overall, I don't think you could have asked for better, to be quite honest. It was a good all-round team performance.
We'd love to hear if you agree with Ando on that. Do get in touch, give us a call. 0800 234 6565 is the number. Send us a message. They're already coming in. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with the letters BBC. We've already mentioned Anthony Gordon. Eddie Howe, certainly enjoyed watching him last night.
Yeah, I thought both our wingers that started the game did really, really well. Great to see them combine for the first goal. That's a really pleasing sight. But yeah, Anthony played very direct. I thought athletically he was excellent because he put a real big effort in both on and off the ball. So yeah, good night for him.
And Harvey Barnes, of course, has come off the bench to score in Newcastle's last two Champions League matches.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do. That's what every player needs to do when they're on the pitch. They need to deliver, and Harvey's always been a goal scorer for us. I'm pleased to see him score off the right today, because he's actually played some good minutes for us on that side of the pitch, and I think he's played really well. Hasn't quite got the goals that he has on the left, but today it was two really good finishes. A reminder of his qualities.
Yeah, it's been theorised, hasn't it, that he's better coming off the bench. He won't like that. He'll want to start games. But a lot of people have said that he seems to do better when he comes on as a sub. Yeah,
new David Fairclough, I suppose, for people who remember that far back. Super sub at Liverpool. He always seems to have an impact when he comes off the bench. The two goals he got last night typifies that, I suppose. But he was... he will want to be starting games. He won't want to just keep coming off the bench and having cameo performances. He'll want to be starting games, as will a lot of other players. Young Miley came in last night. Thought it was a really mature performance for somebody of 19 years of age. Ramsey, I like the look of Ramsey. I think he's a good athlete, strong. He's good on the ball as well. These boys will be wanting to play more games, and I suppose in the Barnes situation, he couldn't do much more than he did last night, come off the bench and score 2 goals. So yeah, be interesting to see what Eddie Howe does at the weekend, because you would imagine that Tonali will be back, Joe Linton will probably be back, but it's all about rotation, because we've got so many games coming up. He's going to have to rotate. I suppose the only place he can't really rotate at this moment in time is the back 4 and Voltameda maybe. He's got options everywhere else on the pitch, and that's what we have to do.
What did you make of Jose Mourinho's Benfica? They've lost every game in the Champions League so far.
I thought they were neat and tidy. I thought they were lightweight though. As I say, Nick Pope had those 2 saves to make in the first half, and the boy hit the post. But I thought once the second goal went in, the game was over. They fell apart big style, and they were fortunate that it was only 3 in the end. So they couldn't handle the pace and the strength that we had. They didn't have that. They were, as I say, they were lightweight. They didn't have the physicality that we had. Dan Bourne caused them all sorts of problems from set pieces. I mean, I thought our delivery from set pieces was so much better last night.
Well, Jose Mourinho called Newcastle a team of giants, I think, didn't he? And his bad run of results at St James's continues. 3 wins in 13 visits now with 4 clubs. There have been goals in the early kickoffs tonight, by the way. Athletic Bilbao 0, Karabag 1, Galatasaray 2, Bodo Glimt 0. Fancy Karabag in the knockout stages, Ando? Trip to Azerbaijan?
I wouldn't like to go that far. I don't know, Razor might fancy going that far.
Nothing wrong with going to Azerbaijan. You might have a whale of a time.
I'm sure there's not.
You'd be offending our Azerbaijani listeners by saying you don't want to go there.
I didn't say I didn't want to go. I just said I don't fancy going there.
That's pretty much the same thing, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't be going anyway.
Well, you might be.
No. Small print.
Anyway. Let's hear a bit more from Eddie Howe. 3 changes last night, as you've already mentioned, Ando. Miley, Ramsey, Murphy all came in, all did well. Eddie Howe was impressed with Lewis Miley.
Top performance from Louis. I think so much that goes into him giving that performance. It's the ability to absorb all the hype and the pressure of the game and just deliver what he needed to. And he's got that unique ability, and he had it from the very first time he played, just to be his normal self and not be fazed by anything. And thought that was an outstanding performance in a game where he was working in minimal space. It was quite tight in the middle of the pitch, but very intelligent. I thought he worked well with Bruno in particular, because those two were combining quite well together. And a great performance from Louis.
Well, you were impressed with him as well. I think he had a couple of moments when he was caught in possession, but he got over that, and he came on strong.
He only had one moment, I think, where he wanted too long on it, and they pinched it off him. But as I said earlier, for somebody 19 years of age, to play in that competition and to put the performance in that he put in, such a mature performance. He's growing into himself. You look at him now, and he's not a boy anymore. He's a man, big, strong, 6 foot plus, big shoulders on him. Carries himself well. I thought he was great last night. But he'll be again. He's another one who will be wanting to play more.
He will, indeed. Yeah. Well, after last night's victory, Newcastle 7th in the Champions League table. That's obviously going to change because there are loads more matches tonight. But 6 points from 3 matches, pretty good start. Their next Champions League match is in 2 weeks' time. It's another home game. It's against Athletic Bilbao, who aren't going very well in the competition either. Before that, though, of course, they do have League Cup and Premier League football to play.
Premier League now takes importance. The Champions League, we've sort of getting in the habit of dipping in and out, as you do, because it's gone. This moment's a great moment. I want the players to sort of enjoy it and take the good from it. But the focus now has to be very firmly on Fulham. It's a big game for us in our Premier League return. And then, of course, we'll be going to the Carabao Cup. So it's really, you're sort of dipping in, you're dipping out. We'll come back to the competition. We're enjoying it. We're more than enjoying it. We're loving it. But it's positive results we need to try and get us through.
Perhaps they've been a little bit inconsistent this season, so they could do with backing it up against Fulham, couldn't they? Yeah,
we need to take that form into the Premier League. nowhere near that at Brighton at the weekend. Big period coming up for us. You know, we've got Fulham at the weekend. We've got Spurs then next Wednesday in the League Cup. You know, so yeah, a lot of games coming in a short space of time, but we need to get that sort of performance on a regular basis in the Premier League. We need to start winning more Premier League games.
And some news today about Sandro Tonali, who signed a contract extension during his suspension 2 years ago, but this has now been revealed. His deal runs until 2029, with Newcastle having the option to trigger a 12-month extension to 2030 as well. So tying him down a bit longer doesn't guarantee that he stays for that time, but it means that they get more dosh for him if he did leave.
You know, you protect yourself, don't you? You know, you give yourself that protection. You want to build the sides around the likes of Tonali, Guimaraes, Voltemada, Gordon. You want to keep your top players. You know, they're hugely important. You can't keep getting rid of your top players. You want to build a side around them. And Tonali's most definitely falls into that bracket. He's just an outstanding footballer.
Alan's on the line now. Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm loving this banter, by the way, lad.
Cheers, Alan.
Hello, Alan.
Good evening.
Join in with it, Alan.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you.
Have a go at Ando.
Even on about that Carrier-Bag work, right, brought back memories. The little waist of Bobby Thompson. You'll not know him, Simon.
I've heard of him.
One of his jokes was he went on his holidays with their loss, and the porter comes up, Carrier bag, says, make a walk.
Yeah, it's an old school joke.
Different times.
Yes. Ando enjoyed it, to be fair.
You wouldn't get away with that, Alan.
Well, he just has. I think. Yes. Well, thank you for apologising, Alan. I suspect you put it into historical context, so I think you're okay.
Yeah.
It's a kind of things that used to be said. There's a lot of things and a lot of
We've moved on since then, Alan, haven't we? Yes.
Right, like, well, I forgot what I was going to say.
I think you better leave it there.
I do it all the time, Alan.
As regards the game itself, I said to my son-in-law after the Brighton game, I says, we need this game coming up midweek. He says, why? I says, there was a few of them off colour, and I says, I give me reasons to them why. And I'm not giving excuses for any players, but it does take the edge off you in some games, like your best player, Tonali, right? Played the 219 in big games that mattered. What annoyed me was what two players that travel the other side of the world for playing in a nonsense games. And it wasn't just the games itself and getting tired, it was a travelling backwards and forwards, you know. But that's another story. We're talking about our display, right? Let's put the game in context. There was a bit of a threat in the first half. You've got to give him credit for that, Jose and his team. But once it went, I tell you what, Newcastle were decisive. The first goal, like lightning, down the wing, looked up, put it across, and Anthony Gordon, who all night was absolutely brilliant, just flew in four posts, and he showed the form, carried on from the champion, the qualifiers. And as regards other players, it did exactly the same. You mentioned the midfielder that come in from Villa.
Yeah.
He put a shift in forward, and he can play. You haven't just got to put shifts in, you've got to be able to play and all that. And even young Miley,
he played well
to the job.
Yeah,
Manley and things like that. Of course, was centre forward who some of his touches. They were all good goals, but the football goal was obviously the last goal, decisive. Anybody the purest 1, 2, 3 back of the net.
Yeah.
So I was really pleased with the general play, the whole team. It was good to see Nick Hope doing something as regards constructive side of his game. Let's see, some people were saying horrible things like his feet's off for walking on because he cannot kick with him, but that throwing nearly threw his salute there. Did you see that, lads?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought he would give her one away, and I had to check on the telly to see he didn't come out, but he didn't. Because it was some throw.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
look
to
at
be
that.
fair to Harvey Barnes, by the way, lads, he anticipated because he wasn't that far off the goalkeeper when he made his run. He flew down the pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, there was an awful lot of positives to take from last night, Alan. You know, I'm sure Eddie Howe will be absolutely delighted with the boys that came in. You know, the contributions that they made. Young Miley, I've already said, for 19, it was such a mature performance.
Yeah.
Ramsey looks a real good athlete, good player, strong. Yeah. There was just Barnes. He always seems to do it when he comes off the bench. It's as if he's got a point to prove, and then all of a sudden he goes and gets 2 last night.
Yeah.
But you know, it gives the manager a problem. It gives the manager a nice problem because he knows.
Yeah.
He looks at that squad now and he's got quality in there. You know, you've got players that can come in. You can hang your hat on them. You don't need to worry about what they're going to contribute. You know that they can cope and they can play. So it's great to have.
Alan, thank you very much indeed for giving us a call tonight.
Cheers,
Good to
Alan.
speak to you as ever. That was Alan with a reminder of a much loved comedian of a different era.